Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter, and welcome to Goldilocks Global Banking News. I am your host, folks. The whole entire globe is preparing for the global monetary shift, the global currency reset, the revaluation of all currencies around the world. Goldilocks is sharing the latest update on all of the shipping ports that do trade, and how they are updating. It is through trade that all currencies move in value. If you want to know how the currencies that you hold will bring forth the wealth that you so desire, you got to pay attention to what Goldilocks is sharing every single day. Let's jump into what Goldilocks is sharing today. Goldilocks is stating that currently global shipping ports, remember, shipping ports are where? On the water. Global shipping ports are in logistics training and synchronizing their digital platforms between each other in trade. Aren't we moving into a digital banking system? And here we have all the ports synchronizing their digital platforms. This has never been done before. In June of this month, which is this month, a few days ago, the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, the acronym is UNCTAD, UNCAT, which stands for the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, along with the International Harbor Masters Association, formalized a partnership to enhance port management around the world. For those of you who've been paying attention to Iraq, and Iraq working with the World Trade Organization, the ICE Cutter system, which is the digital platform for all of the ports around the world that are connected, the ports within Iraq, through ICE Cutter, the automatic system for ports, is a part of this UNCTAD, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. Iraq is a part of this in this update. The agreement between these two international trade organizations that was signed in Morocco, it aims to address emerging challenges in port communities by promoting sustainable practices and knowledge exchange. So think of a global digital connection of all the ports around the world that includes Iraq and the other countries within the World Trade Organization. This is digital training now that they are implementing for all of the ports on the waters around the world, whereby currency exchange rates will move. This collaboration builds on the ongoing efforts to provide accessible, multilingual training through e-learning portals. Why is this so important? Folks, all of the countries and all of their currencies have different languages electronically that must communicate with each other. The dinar must communicate with the dong, and the dong must communicate with the pesos, the Russian rubles, the bolivars. All of these currencies, the US dollar, they all must communicate through one simple language. This technology enables them all to communicate instantaneously, which allows for currency exchanges to be done instantaneously. Goldilocks is stating that, yes, shipping ports are actively synchronizing their digital trade systems and moving to go live with any moment. Then Goldilocks shares the updates on Vietnam, where Vietnam, they're in the midst of the third round of negotiations with tariff agreements with the United States. But Vietnam is already announcing that they have implemented certain measures for a market economy, whereby even Vietnam has explicitly, openly, publicly, in writing stated that they are putting forth measures to open their markets in Vietnam to the global markets around the world. What would that end up being as a result? The dong to become a market economy currency. This opens Vietnam to more trade around the world. No coincidence they're in the United States cutting deals to open up our farmers' markets to Vietnam. This connection is for bilateral cooperation with countries around the world to go into Vietnam to import for imports. Opening up Vietnam's private sector to private companies around the world to move into Vietnam to do business. While Vietnam operates a socialist oriented market economy, blending central bank control with market mechanisms, what Vietnam is now doing clears the way for a shift towards where only the market will determine the value of the Vietnamese dong. It all will come out in the wash once these negotiations with the United States are finalized. See, what Goldilocks is sharing is that in an economy with a floating exchange rate, market forces, primarily supply and demand, determine the value of a currency. Many of you have heard so many different stories of how currency exchange rates will all of a sudden happen. Have you seen any proof? Anything in writing from the actual forex agencies that show you how exchange rates are determined? Goldilocks has been showing you that. With floating exchange rate market forces and how this comes to fruition, it means that the price of a currency, the value of a currency, the rate of a currency in relation to other currencies will no longer be fixed by the Central Bank of Vietnam or any other central bank around the world that's been manipulating their currencies, but rather fluctuations of the rate based on the international global markets will determine the Forex exchange rate. As we move into more of the digital banking system, the digitizing of all the ports, whereby trade is done on the water, whereby also the digital asset regulations are interlinking, coming down the pipe. You can see how everything is coming to a head in a crescendo towards the event. You are in the beautiful place at a beautiful time. Just stay grounded. Stay off the foo-foo trains, the foo-foo rooms. And for God's sake, no more foo-foo cereal for breakfast every morning, getting you all riled up and flustered and with anxiety. That spoiled milk don't taste so good, does it? Nah. Beautiful people, use the God-given discernment that He has blessed you with, preparing you for this blessing that is coming your way. Be well. And Saturday Night Dialogues, when you hear and see what the Goldilocks team is preparing for you as it relates to the currency exchanges, you will be floored. Stay tuned. We love you, folks. Ciao.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.